Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be reviewing the BMW X6 M40i. But before we get to it, there's a couple of things I want to tell you. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. And second thing I want to tell you, I'm going to leave a link down below to our second channel where we do the behind the scenes and the fails and all these kinds of fun stuff. And if you have any question that you want to ask about cars or you want to know anything, we'll make a full video on it for you there. So make sure you go to the second channel, subscribe, and ask us some questions. Alright guys, now before we do anything, as usual, we're going to take a quick look at the engine. Alright guys, this car comes with a 3-liter inline-6 engine that is twin turbocharged, and it makes 335 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque. It has an 8-speed dual clutch automatic transmission. Alright guys, now there's definitely a lot going on with the new shape of this car. First thing we're going to talk about is the headlights. Now, as you can see, obviously LED day running headlights, they're pretty cool, and especially, you know, the housing of the headlight, there's a massive change. It kind of just sinks in with the whole bumper, and they have this whole nice shape going on. And also, there is all these kinds of new shapes to give the car to give the headlights a better design. If you would see how this car starts at night, it's just almost the same concept as the Audis nowadays. You'll get greeted with a certain sequence of lighting. But moving on to down here, you have also LED fog lights, but here's the terrible thing. You have fake air vents here, so obviously this is not functional, but you know, they kind of made up for it and they put a functional air vent on the side here. Now, next thing when it comes to the bumper that I want to talk to you guys about is this area over here. Obviously everything down here is functional, so these air vents are functional for airflow, of course. And you have a couple of scoops over here. If you take a closer look, it is going in all the way back into the radiator. So, you know, pretty good aerodynamics, or the efficiency of the aerodynamics is going pretty well in this car so far. And here's the odd thing about the other side. If you see here, these air vents are actually functional. They're real, which is kind of questionable. Like, why is it not real on the other side, and why is it real on this side? So yeah, that's the only pretty odd thing when it comes to the bumper of the car and the whole front exterior of the car. And moving on to the grills here, you guys. Now, these things keep getting bigger, and the names are getting more ridiculous. I guess the designers and the engineers kind of ran out of names, so they call this the kidney grills. They are currently closed and they might seem like they don't work, but just take a look at this. As you switch on the engine, they open up. For the wheels here, you get 21-inch M Sport wheels. You know, I love the designs of the M Sport wheels. They always give the car more of a character. They add kind of more aggression onto it. And you get obviously the M calipers. The M brake calipers, and they're painted in blue, and you have the M badging on it. But that's about it for this side of things. And obviously the fender flaring is kind of a cool thing. I'm glad they didn't make it in chrome. It's kind of in the same color as the car, which makes things way less boring, thank God. And coming down here to the side, you have this vent over here that is absolutely useless. There's nothing really that goes in it or comes out of anywhere. So this is just for show, but it does give the car a good look. As you see, the body lines are very sleek on this car. It has very good body lines, and you see it just coming down from the fender flares all the way to the back. Next thing up here, you guys, is the spoilers you're getting back there. Obviously, this is all for aerodynamical efficiency and all this kind of thing. The car is kind of looking like it wants to be a coupe, and I guess this is kind of the SUV coupe shape that you should be going for when buying this car. But other than that, you get LED taillights, of course. I love the looks of these things. They are very, very sharp, very sleek, and they're very tidy, if I have to be honest with you guys. So it is, you know, it is a pretty cool look they've got going on the taillights here. And you know, there's a lot more going in the rear than you think there are. Obviously, everything nowadays is kind of trying to look like Darth Vader, if that makes sense. The Hyundai Veloster, the Lamborghini Urus, everything is kind of taking almost pretty much the same shape. But this car is taking the same shape almost as the Z4 and the M850 and all that kind of thing. So I guess even the all new 4 Series kind of has the same shape as this when it comes to taillights and, you know, kind of the design ideas. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's really what's going to make you distinguish that these cars are BMWs. Alright guys, next thing up here are the diffusers. They're pretty nice, and you know, I really like this kind of metallic rear bumper that they have going on. It looks really nice, and if the car was a different color, let's say it was, you know, the light blue color it comes with, this metallic thing over here, piece of plastic, would look just perfect and it would look really nice. And then next thing up, they are complemented with these diffusers, as I said. You know, they look pretty nice, pretty aggressive, but the only thing I don't like, this is obviously a fake exhaust trim. The real exhaust is way smaller sitting inside there, but this does again give kind of a better overall look for the car. Alright guys, and next thing that I saw about this car that really impressed me, and it looked really nice because it kind of gave the car a wide body vibe. It's this, okay? This air vent, or this scoop right here, is absolutely not functional, which is such a shame because it looks really nice, but in the end of the day it's not functional. But it is what it is. Again, it's just there for looks. I don't really think this is the performance SUV that you should be going for, but this really does give a good look. Alright guys, next thing we're going to take a look at, because we actually have to, is the trunk space. And the good thing about this car is the Germans have really made it very simple and very luxurious for you to use. So I need, you know, a frizz-free, a German beard, and a mustache. So I have to get that done with editing. Now, what you need to do is give it a little kick from below, and the trunk will open up. Now let's say you've opened up your trunk and you have a lot of plastic bags and you just kind of, you know, you can't really lift them up. What you'd have to do is press on this button right here, and it will kind of take the car down for you to kind of help you put the stuff inside. And as you guys can see, the car is getting a little bit lower now, but that's really about it. You can close it with the button over here. It's obviously everything's automatic. Yeah, fairly good amount of trunk space inside, as you guys saw, but nothing too special. And first thing we're going to talk about here, guys, is the infotainment system. Now guys, I just want to remind you that I am sick, so sorry if I mispronounced some stuff. Now back to the infotainment system. I love BMW infotainment systems. I've been growing up around BMW infotainment systems, so I can really tell you that these things will work for a good while, and they will work really well. First of all, the layout is very simple and very basic, yet it's full of details if you want it to have all the details that you can ask for. Very responsive. Again, there's so much details that you can get about your car. You know, there's a very nice navigation system. You get all this cool 3D features, and everything is very highly detailed, and everything is laid out perfectly for you. Obviously Apple CarPlay and all that, but the Android users, I guess you're going to be having a bad day. But you do have a couple of things when it comes to the infotainment system that I really don't understand. I feel like they're somewhat close to pointless, and it is this and this. Absolutely useless in my opinion. If you know you're gonna be able to do this and this, you might as well just do this and change your tracks. But again, it's kind of a, you know, whenever you're gonna question where your money goes, you can kind of always give yourself a reply with, oh well, I can turn my finger in circles and increase my volume. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the climate control and all the options you have and all the things that you can see. I really like what I'm seeing here. Okay, this looks amazing, especially this small little digital screen. I'm really digging that. Some people might think it's a cheap thing to add. Some people might think that it's not really that useful, or doesn't even look that good, or doesn't complement the car. Whatever you think, I really think these look really nice, especially in the middle there. It kind of gives it a cute, nice little look. Obviously all the chromey pieces, because this is a luxury car, so I'm not really expecting carbon fiber in this specific model, but it's all really nice. You get chrome, everything is evened out. You don't have everything in chrome, so it's not all too much. Not everything is black, so it doesn't all look so plasticky and cheap. And next up is a you know, a very cool compartment here. This little compartment over here. There is so much that you can do when it comes to this area. First of all, you can just put your phone there and it will wirelessly charge. So there's no news there. You guys have seen this. If you've seen my Z4 review that I've done a couple of weeks ago, it had the same exact thing. So it's no longer really a luxury anymore. It's becoming more standard than it is a luxury. But the really cool thing down here is you have a cup cooler. So if you have a drink and you want to keep it cool, you just press on that and it keeps it cool. If you want to heat it up, you press one more time and it keeps your drink hot and warm for you. Now, if this is something that you have in your car, then you are absolutely spoiled and probably rich too. So yeah, that is a pretty good feature, as I am a man wearing my suit going to work with my very terribly tasting coffee, and I just throw it in there and it'll keep it hot, so I can enjoy the miserable tasting coffee for the rest of the day. Alright guys, next thing I want to talk to you about is the driving controls over here. Now there is so much going on, and it's really fairly simple to understand. There's nothing that's difficult or nothing that looks a way that it really shouldn't. So you have all the basic stuff. You have your infotainment controls in case you don't want to touch screen operate anything. You also have this crystal gear knob that you're probably seeing a lot and more of the recent X models of the BMWs. But the only thing that's a turn off about this is the plastic on the side of the gear shifter. Everything else here is chrome. You know, it feels somewhat expensive, but then we come here to this plastic and this plastic that kind of really just takes away, you know, the good look out of the car. Or not the good look, maybe more of the, you know, the good feel. But if you're a guy who pays attention to little detail, this is probably something that's gonna upset you. Now, next up is this area over here. You can increase and decrease your ride height, and it really lets you know, it gives you a visual representation of what's happening. Look at this, and now we're gonna take it back down, and the car is going down. Unbelievable. Now this is exactly what is happening on the outside, but we're getting a visual representation. Kind of upsets me because, you know, the world is really moving forward, while we still have to order coilovers and stuff like that with thousands of dollars to make our car go lower, you know. So this is definitely a great option. Next up, you have your obviously handbrake, electric parking, and for your driving modes, you have Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, and Adaptive. Obviously, Adaptive is adaptive, so there's no need to explain that. And Sport, you know it. Comfort, you also know it. Eco Pro, and you know, all the basic stuff that you've known in a BMW. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the dashboard. Now, obviously it's been renewed, and we all know about that. Again, if you saw my Z4 review, we've talked about this, but you get, you know, a whole new kind of speedometer, a whole new tachometer, you know, nice digital. I really don't like the whole digital thing. I don't know why. I feel like also a bit of old school hard type of you know, speedometer and stuff like that is kind of a, I don't know, it feels more real. This feels like just a toy, if that makes sense. But it is what it is. A lot of people like it. I find it sometimes pretty confusing, but you know, the odds are I'm probably not gonna buy a BMW with this dashboard anytime soon in my life, so I'm okay with it. And now we're gonna talk about the steering wheel. Now, if you've driven a BMW, you've seen a BMW in the last couple of years, the steering wheel feels the same, looks the same, so nothing has changed in pretty much 99% of their models. You still do get this thick leathery feel to it, and I really like this because it does feel expensive. It feels good. So yeah, honestly, 10 out of 10 for their steering 10 out of 10 for their steering wheels. You know, the paddle shifters, I wish they were maybe more metal than plastic, because they are very plasticky, and that's very shameful when you have all this going on and then plastic paddle shifters. But again, it is what it is. Again, if you buy this car, you're probably not looking for performance as much as you are looking for luxury or a family car, or maybe even a car to go pick up your kids from soccer practice kind of thing. But you know, that's about it. Alright guys, when it comes to driving the car, I thought I'm not really going to test the performance of the car because this is more of a luxury car, but I feel like we should really give it a chance. But before we do so, let's just talk about the normal basic driving. Obviously it's very comfortable. We just went over a big bump, and if we were to do that in my car, I'm pretty sure we'd get scoliosis. So this suspension is just great. Obviously the car has adaptive suspension, so no matter what kind of terrain you're driving on, the car will always be smooth, the car will always be nice. Alright guys, let's launch the car. We'll do it once in Comfort and once in Sport Plus to see how it performs. So brakes all the way in, give some gas, and out we go. The car lifts up. The car is, you know, this is a lot more powerful than I had expected it to be honest with you. Okay, now I'm actually excited for Sport Plus. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap it in Sport, and we kind of get more aggressive dashboard display. Same thing again, full brake in, give us full gas, and out we go. So in Sport Plus you get very late shifting, but the turbos are just on fleek. The turbos are working when you're asking them to work. The horsepower, to be honest with you, if I was told that this car is 335 horsepower, I wouldn't believe. After I've tried the performance, I would believe that this is something around maybe 450 horsepower, because the car does have great torque and great horsepower. I mean, I'll show you guys, probably saw the shot, or I'll put a shot for you in there of the car literally lifting up when you floor it. But as when you're rolling, if you floor it, you know, it takes a couple of seconds. It takes less time than a Nissan GT-R to pick up speed. So this is the X6 V6 version as well. It's not even the V8, because, you know, that's why BM, they do this M40. M40 stands for the inline 6, and M50 stands for the V8 models. But this car performs really well, and to be honest with you, I'm quite shocked. I'm sorry my reaction is not as good as always, but obviously I'm a little sick right now, so I can't really be as dramatic as I usually am. Alright guys, this is the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, because you are literally changing lives. I'm gonna leave a link down below for our second channel, where you will see the behind the scenes of today. There's a couple of other videos, but if you want to ask us anything in the comments on the second channel, we'll answer it in a full video for you guys, to just give you everything in detail and make life easier for you. So for now, we're going to take a quick listen to the exhaust, and we'll do a quick walk around. But before we do that, if you have a nice car here in Dubai and you don't mind us reviewing it, please feel free to comment down below. We'll get in touch with you and we'll set something up. And for now, enjoy the rest of the car.